That
and
there we go.
we're
I see the
back.
live.
There we go.
There we go.
That was
Okay,
kind of
we are back.
smooth. I thought it'd
There
be
you go.
worse than that.
No, that was pretty smooth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the after party.
Yeah, yeah.
So we
All
are
right, so
talking
3 hours
about
to the airport, 3 hours home. It's a big old ordeal.
yes,
Is
and
that reflected in the price?
now most of the time I did not charge that to the people. I mean,
Mhm.
but nowadays the gasoline is also for the trip 100, and most of the time I'm in a hurry. So most of the time I have a speeding ticket because I always drive too fast. So yeah, and I still like to send puppies out if people is really enthusiastic, and I prefer to sell it to breeders than to somebody who just have a puppy. I mean, especially nowadays. And the thing is that I will always try to sell something good to the if I sell a puppy overseas. So it will be one of the best puppies because
Represents you.
Yeah,
in my time, a lot of people sent me shit stuff, and I always was so disappointed. Then. So I always said to myself, I promise myself, especially if I have young breeders, I want to set them up good. So yeah, but by doing that, then but that puppy what you send over, you also can sell very good here in Europe, and you don't have to spend that time or something.
right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
if I can really make somebody happy or a breeding program, yeah, then I'm willing it to do it. Yeah.
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 Let's see. I'm There we go. We got it shared.
People coming
So
back in.
yeah, they'll trigger back in.
Yeah,
I
if
had
I don't I cannot see questions, but if some people have questions for me, they can ask the question. I will answer it, no problem.
there should be a little button on your screen that says comments, and like on the corner or
If you look at the bottom, Michael, there's like three dots and it says more. If you press that more button, the very first link you'll see it'll say comments, and that'll show you what everybody's asking in the chat. You see it at the bottom right. Mine's like right. It's just three little dots.
Oh yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I don't see questions in this
Oh,
well,
because
link.
it's new. The people got to find it. But I just shared it to my Facebook, so
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's what I can do.
yeah. I'm trying to find something here. Guess let's go to my pictures.
can I ask you? Do you have a favorite production? Like, do you have a dog that was, who's your top three dogs that you produced specific to all the breeds that you touch, or I guess maybe just the bully breeds? Because I feel like this community would know those dogs.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I had a dog called Scarface. He meant a
Hmm.
lot. He meant a lot for me, and especially also not only how I look, but also the production.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, that a lot of people who used his offspring, they could work something out with it, and it's very nice to see for you as a breeder that
Hmm.
if you, for example, you go to the UK and then you recognize on a dog show some dogs from yourself.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
go to Brazil, then I see some dogs and I say, "Oh man, this is offspring of Scarface," or
Hmm.
they build a bloodline of it, or yeah, or I see dogs from you, from Tony. Yeah, that's what I like. I had a dog called McMoney. That was the
Okay, the
American
one you were
Bulldog.
just telling us about. Okay.
Yeah, that was the American Bulldog. That dog had a beautiful character. I had a beautiful story with that dog. I mean, when my oldest daughter, she was a young girl. I was with her in I live here in the countryside, and I wanted to canoe with her, and I took the dog with me, and I made the mistake because behind me on the fields there was cows, and those cows they had the baby cows,
Oh.
calves, yeah.
Oh.
Hmm.
So I put the cano on my back, and cows is very curious animals. So when you walk with something like that, they start surrounding you, yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
oh.
And but the problem was Normally they are not aggressive, but they had calves, and there was a big bull with that, and then they can be aggressive.
Yeah.
And my daughter gets separated from me from the herd, so she was closed in with cows. And you need to stay calm with cows. You must not run away because then something can happen.
Yeah.
And that American bulldog from me, he ran towards my daughter when she was little. He put his
Wow.
ass to her body, and he was barking to the cows that they don't come close to her distance, and he pushed her with his back towards me. If I had made that
Wow.
on video, I had the most beautiful
That's
video
perfect. Yeah.
ever.
Wow.
So that moment with the dog, that was for me a very emotional moment, and it was very good. And besides, that dog was one of the biggest Mufasa sons, and he did very good work with me as well in the American Bulldogs. I mean, I win more than 3,000 first place trophies in dog shows. Yeah.
Wow. I
And
feel like I just seen a picture where you had it said Bullforce, and maybe you sent it to me, bro. And it said
I
Bullforce with
shared it.
all of
Yeah.
your awards.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's
I
Yeah.
pretty
I
mean,
told
cool.
him when he sent it to me, I was like, that picture needs to be explained
Yeah.
because it's
yeah.
not obvious what you're
One
looking at.
liter is about 3 meters. So yeah, you can see
Wow.
how many trophies it was. And in that time, it was not like new. Like now, it's like yeah. With all respect, but sometimes I think it's a camera attraction. I mean, if you go now to a dog show, I
Hmm.
mean, if I go with any of my dogs to a dog show now in Holland, doesn't matter who, I will win a trophy. Doesn't matter which one it is, because sometimes there is only 3 dogs, so you have one first place or second place or third place. But in my time, when I was younger, there was 100 dogs on the show. So if you win then the best in show or the first place, it really meant something. You understand?
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's something, it's probably a little bit about what the American bully scene did with it. The trophies, every show I judged, the trophies get bigger. I mean, the last trophies I saw, I think it was so big that the people could not even take it home with them in the car. I mean, they need to have a trailer
A pickup
to
truck.
take the trophy with them. I mean, of course, it's something really exciting when you win something like that. But with all respect, when I saw the dog who was winning, then I was not impressed, to have a
Yeah.
trophy like that. But
The show
yeah,
they just had here in Arkansas, I
yeah,
swear to you, the best in show trophy was a monument. It was like that'd be
Taller than
so
you.
cool to win, but I wouldn't know where to put it. It was like okay, the base of it was probably like 24 by 30, right? And then it was like 2 feet high, and it was wood, and it was gorgeous. It was
Hey, hey.
beautiful. I was like, wow. But I
What's
was
up,
like,
Zena?
where is that gonna go? You gotta have a trailer.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I would love to like I said, to come back on the shows, to have a show a little bit more that we can learn from each other. So, like I said, giving the seminar, best would be, for example, that the old school breeders will give seminars,
Hmm.
and where you really could learn something. I mean, that's something what could bring the community maybe back and closer. I mean,
Hmm.
right now, especially also I think in the USA, if you need to take a day off from your work or something, I mean, even if you don't get the trophy, but you come home with a lot of knowledge, yeah.
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
And the knowledge, I think we can divide in a lot of things. I mean, you can have knowledge in the genetics, knowledge through experience, but you can also make knowledge what you already can find. Like I said, you can find the doctor who do, for example, in the US, they use a lot of thing, for example, with inseminations. What you
Hmm.
can do on ice, or what you can do. How they open the female, drop the semen on the eggs in the uterus, that you can have somebody who explain the whole situation. I would say invite somebody who tell you exactly if you want to import, for example, a dog from another country, how the whole process is going. Um, we should have
Let
maybe we
can you
should have maybe you can co-host, maybe you can make a platform also where we can work together, that where we can say, for example, how to import a puppy from another country. What
Hmm.
is the best airplane? What is the cheapest way? Instead of
uh-oh,
Yep.
uh-oh, uh-oh.
Yep.
He'll be back in a minute.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, they importing dogs and stuff like that. Exporting, that's always something I've been interested in.
yeah. You know what though? I feel like it, and I don't know if it was just because I bought it out of a different country, but when I imported Slick Rick, um, that was I had to go up to the airport, pick him up. I had to go through a bunch of this and that. When I imported my Dobie, they brought him directly to my front door. So I don't know if it's, Ricky was, I don't know what, 10 years ago, something like that, 8 years ago. I don't know if it's just changed, but literally a guy in a van pulls up. I don't know. There was probably four different Dobies on the van. And he flew in, I think, from New York. So I was like the first stop. But literally,
Mm.
he comes over, he picks up four dogs, just drives across the country, drops them off, jumps back on the plane. And I mean, he literally brought it to my front door. So and like I said, I don't know if that's because there was a broker involved, and with Ricky, that was just a direct. I don't
Yeah.
know, but it was Serbia was such a simple process, man. Like
I know
sent
them
the
them
money.
them middleman, everybody you might not want to have so many hands in the pot,
Mm-hmm.
but but as long as y'all bring something and they
Yeah.
streamline the process and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, I
There you go.
mean,
Sometimes
yeah,
it's worth it. If it's
yeah.
if it's gonna make it easier on me to give you a couple of hours extra, yeah, I'm not too mad at that, man. Here you go.
And that ground
Yeah.
transport, it could be a thing. That was the first time we shipped a dog in a ground transport.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly, but let's say the dog leaves here Tuesday, it's supposed to be there Thursday.
Yeah.
But then they start picking up other dogs,
Yeah.
yada
Or
yada.
snowstorm or
Which I get,
rainstorm.
which I
Yeah.
get. You gotta, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. You gotta keep the van
Yeah.
full. But that dog didn't get there till if it was supposed to get there Thursday, Saturday. Then people were in Rhode Island, and they
Yeah.
finally said, "We'll just ride down to New York City to meet them."
But that's tricky too, man, because you really have to find a shipper that you trust. Because
Yeah,
sometimes you're just trying to get the pup on a route and get him out of here, and you may not necessarily, you send
yeah,
your dog off, it leaves big full, looking great. Client gets the dog and they're like, hey, I'm like, damn,
yeah,
he was on there a couple days.
yeah. A week in advance is gonna have effect on anything.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It used to be though, bro. Before Delta had that situation, I don't know if you remember this, but Delta had a situation where some genius put a French bulldog in the above compartment. I don't know, right, bro? Like, who does that, man? And the dog ended up dying though. And that's when all of the rules changed, and that's when the ground shipping kind of blew up. It used to be if I showed you a dog this morning, I could have that dog. I could go right up to Cleveland Hopkins Airport, put him on cargo. I could have you that dog in 5, 6 hours. It made life so much easier. But once that happened and Delta discontinued the cargo flights for at least the Brachycephalic dog, the Bulldog, snub nose breeds,
yeah,
then it becomes a situation. Okay, unless you have a shipper like right now, I got a couple shippers I deal with. The one in particular, they do a route every Monday, so I know if I sell a dog this week, I can get him on a route to you Monday. But it used to, sometimes it's like, okay, I sold the dog, now I got to figure out how I'm going to get the dog to you.
yeah.
So I wish they would open those flights back up. It made life a lot easier. Um, and honestly, man, I think it's safer for the dog. It's a straight shot versus a week on the road, around a bunch of dogs that it's never been around, smelling a bunch of shit it's never smelled,
Right.
disease and things of that nature, man. So
Let me try
if
to
you trying to
check
come
out
back
mine real
in,
quick.
okay.
Yeah.
What I think would be cool, and I'll try and mention it when he comes back on. I know IOVA has a show coming up this year. I want to say they said September. How
Something
cool
like
would
that.
that be? Yeah, something like that. If we could get him over here, to judge the show, and just kind of network, maybe even do a seminar with some of the older
Yeah.
seasoned breeders, with himself included. Um,
I'm nobody, but I've been since he told me that he had interest in judging here.
hmm
I've been trying to put bugs in people's ears because
Yeah,
I said, and then
yeah.
I'm probably not even
There
nobody
it
to
is.
do that,
I'm
but
back.
Ah, there you are.
oh, hang on,
Yeah,
let
I
me
don't know what happened with the computer.
there we
Yeah.
go.
There we go. So, Michael, I was just telling bro that the IOEBA, a lot of people don't know, but there was a transfer of ownership, and I do know that they're planning on putting the show on towards the end of this year. I think it would be hella cool, man, if maybe we could get you over here to judge the show. Maybe you work directly with them and put together some type of seminar. And obviously, I don't, speak for the IOBA or what they would be willing to do or wanting to do,
The
but I
comments
think
of Tony Clay are his opinion and his opinion alone. They do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the group.
bro, you sounded just like a. Like, wait a minute, man. But I
I
do. I
know.
think that would be really
I
cool.
would happy to do that. And like I said, because you Kolos, you are building up now this platform already.
We're
And
trying. We're
what
being
I would,
faithful.
what you maybe also could do is, like I say, put some subjects. Like I did it one time. I mean, I remember there was a time that we had forums,
Hmm.
and man, and people breeders was fighting with each other. It was crazy, you know.
Oh,
Sometimes it
Yahoo
was
days.
you take a
Yeah,
bag of chips and you was eating and drinking in the forum.
grab the
And
popcorn,
about
huh?
the fights. But at some point, I remember that I say, listen, um, I say something about the veterinarians. I say, let's put the cost. What you pay for a vaccination? What you pay for this? And then some people they discover that, for example, this vet charged only one third of that vet. You know.
Yep.
Yeah,
So it could be good to inform the people what really are the prices and how we get screwed about things.
Yep.
I was
If somebody finds something very interesting where you can buy the very good heating lamps for the whelping rooms, where you can buy a very good whelping box, where you can buy the food cup. I mean, something like that. If you put that all in a platform, that is, then I think you will reach
bring it
out
on,
to a
bring it
very
on.
big public because everybody is interested in find that place. You
For
Yeah,
understand?
sure. That'd be
I
cool,
always
G.
thought about
Or
it, but I
Christiana, that
have
is.
too many animals to build on something like this. But this that would I have very good ideas. I think
yeah,
if you do something like that, then you can learn. You know.
yeah.
I feel like for me, what's worked best with those C-section is a
It's always mid sentence. I swear.
I did not listen what he said. He was
He
suddenly
cut he
gone.
cut right off. He cut right off. But he'll be back. He'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and this is something that's fresh in my mind because I just went through it yesterday. Puppy shots,
Yes.
right? You can go to the vet and it's like $30 per puppy to get their shots, right? Or
Yeah.
hold on, or you go to the tractor supply store, the farm store, and you buy them yourself, and they're $13, $14, right? Or you can go online to I think it's Jefferson Pet, Jeff Pet, something like that, and they sell them 25 vials for $130. Which turns out to $5 something a shot,
Yeah.
right?
In
But you go to
Holland,
the
it's not
vet, and that
legal.
same thing is $30.
Yeah.
So the
In Holland, you need to do it by a vet. We cannot put our own. Everything where you need to put a needle on right now is you can get a penalty.
really,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
the
See,
same. For example, if you a lot of if you talk about dog medication, I mean, all dog medication is almost the same as human medication. I mean,
Mhm.
the amoxicillin what you use for a dog is the same amoxicillin what you use for a human. You know,
Mhm.
and for example, the cattle. I mean, it's crazy. If a cow needs to have a C-section, the farmer pays 300 euros, and if a dog has a C-section, you need to pay 1,500. What you
Mhm.
think is more easy to do for a vet? a C-section for a dog on the table, or the
Yep.
cow who weighs
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure the
600
cow
kilos
uses a lot
and
more
needs such
medication
a
to
big
knock them
bottle
down.
of antibiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they make a lot of profit about the emotions that the dog is getting a pet. But yeah, you can build those kinds of things out, and uh, yeah, a lot of people don't know the schedule, when you need to deworm a puppy, what age and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's your deworming schedule?
I do it with 10 days when they open their eyes the first time, and then every 2 weeks, and then I try to use a little bit different to different
Wormers.
Different
dewormers.
wormers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can say something also, I think it's worldwide. One of the biggest problems right now is not only the warming, but it's parasites. And I don't know if you ever listen of the Giardia parasites.
Giardia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I yeah
I mean,
yeah.
70% of that's also some things what I would like to discuss. 70% of all dogs, is carrier of this parasite. Yeah.
Hmm.
And nowadays, if you go to the vet, then the vet say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, this is very bad." But it's something what is, for me, it's the same like a dewormer. But the veterinarians, they talk it so bad that the people need to disinfect the house. They need to do this. Then they need to do that. So they could make a huge amount of money of it. But
Yep.
Giardia is very simple to treat with metronidazole. Yeah, and the bulldog has a little bit more difficult digestion system. So, for example, if you have breeds like a dachshund, if you use Panacur, for example, for 5 days, then it's probably enough. But for the bulldogs, no, it don't work anymore. You really need to use metronidazole, and then there is different supplements where that's inside. For example, Stromagil, Citricina. There is more than 5 or 7 medicaments where you can put it in. But like I said, um, it's not the meaning that everybody is going to play his own doctor, because some people they have the knowledge, some people they have not the knowledge, and some people you can tell them but they don't understand it. So
Right.
it's good
Right.
that there is also vets, of course.
Yeah.
But sharing
I
information on a platform, and especially I think where you can buy stuff and where you can learn stuff. I mean, what is also, for example, very interesting, and this is what happened in the UK, United Kingdom. I see testing of dogs for me is something, what can be important, health test.
mhm.
But I see a lot of time I don't like it when breeders is testing the dogs as a marketing instrument.
Selling point. Yep.
And it's a selling point. And for example, when you have an extreme ugly dog, yeah, you test them on 100 diseases, and suddenly you have a fantastic dog because that very ugly dog is good for everything. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I saw, for example, in the UK, they right now they want that the dog is tested on DM.
That's mange, right?
DM is no DM. That's has
Degenerative.
something in the
Oh,
spine. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
But in the 25 years that I breed the bulldogs, I never had one dog who died from it. Not one. Not one. And I never saw any effect it had in the breed. But suddenly there was one breeder in the UK who started with it, and then now all the dogs need to have this DM test. It's another 60 or 70 euro or dollars or
Yeah.
pounds what you need to pay for the dogs. I mean, and if I think it's a good test when dogs is really dying from this, or when it affects the breed.
Hmm.
But that's what you see nowadays a lot with this DNA shit. This pharmaceutical industry, they found a new locus from certain disease. They want to promote this, Yeah, and then they link, for example, the bulldog to this locus, and they suddenly say you need to test for this because your dog can have it, but don't have any effect on the breed, and we need to pay another €70 for
And
testing this dog.
it's I don't know, I don't want to say unchecked science, but like if you submit to Embark, which I've used it, we use it, whatever. But who checks Embark? They come up
You,
with their own, and they use it and they sell it, and there's no
you mean
oh,
embark that it profiles the race?
the yeah, yeah, the breed
Mm-hmm.
and all
Oh,
that, and
oh,
which
that's so much fun. I mean, I bred in the Corona time. I bred pure Labrador with poodle, and the embark says that there was not even 1% Labrador
Yep.
inside. People
Yep.
get
yeah, yeah,
completely fucked up about it. And I saw in the internet, I saw Merle American Bulldogs who was 100% American Bulldogs with the
American
embark.
Bulldog.
So
Right.
no, no. I also say a lot of times, but that's my opinion. A bulldog is a bulldog, and if it's a F1 or an F2 or an F3, because that's also, especially in Denmark and everything, they start. This isn't second generation bulldog. No, man. If you have a beautiful first generation bulldog, then use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we cannot do it because of the rules. It needs to be minimum third generation Old English Bulldog of four. I think that's bullshit. We look at the dog, not on the pedigrees.
yeah.
Yep.
Bulldogs have a shoddy origin story to say it
But that's
best.
that's
It's
that,
sketchy.
that that's my opinion. I always look. I never look at pedigrees. You know why? When I look on pedigrees, I only look for pedigrees that I don't want to do too much inbreeding. That's when I look on pedigrees. Or for example, I look on pedigrees, but then I look on pedigrees because I want to see the confirmation of the dogs. If I see a certain bloodline from a breeder, I don't know if you do. You remember when you was a child, you could buy this chewing balls in an automat. You put a penny in it or
Gumbo
something. You
machine.
do,
Yeah,
Bubblegum.
and
Yep.
then
Yep.
and
Yep.
you do
Yep.
like this. Oh, it's blue. It's yellow.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's green. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's what I say. Sometimes you have a dog, and it's the most fantastic dog. But this is this I call this magic ball. If it can be completely out of nowhere. Sometimes you can have a fantastic dog, but if you have an ugly mother, an ugly father, an ugly grandfather, an ugly grandmother,
He's gonna make you uglies.
Yeah.
you can be lucky that the dog still give you very good dogs.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's just a coincidence that that dog was good. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? And it
Yeah.
costs you a lot
Lucked
of.
up.
So
So I shared this picture. Is this midget or is this another dog? Let me let's see. Let's see. Let me get it up here.
Whew.
yeah, that's him.
That's midget.
Yeah, yeah, he's still young. He's not filled out yet. I think he's now 14 months or something.
Wow.
His head's white as your chest.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That his chest is really really something special. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's more a cartoon dog. It's not a dog where I would the dog show with. But I have already some sons. What I think, oh yeah, that could be potential show winning dogs. Yeah.
Who is midget off of?
He's out of Bison,
Okay.
and uh, and
Which bison I could dig him out too. I think.
yeah, and and Pandora. That's the mother, I think. Yeah, yeah. But that's typical the Scarface line. Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I like him because he gives me the bone, and I did now 3 litters with him, and they all have the bone and the angulation, and that's the most difficult to have dogs with thick bone with angulation. That's something. Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah.
And I keep hammering on the Englishing. If you are starting, you need to put. If you want to win the dog shows, you need to have the Englishing. Otherwise, forget about it. And that's why a lot of people is disappointed because they have the most beautiful dog, and everybody in the Facebook say, "Wow, wow, wow!" And that's also something what is sometimes difficult for judges because then the people have this wow factor dog. Yeah, and you remember always when you are on a judge, you must make a picture where you stand next to the dog. Nobody sees the rear of the dog. You
Yep.
understand?
Half a
Everybody sees
dog.
the head and the chest, and the rear is fucked up. And then you have that dog with the ugly head, tiny chest, but the conformation is perfect, and you need to put that dog above the dog with the fucked up rear. And a lot of judges think, oh, I don't want to be in the Facebook because that's the problem right now. If we are judging, every step you make is photographed. You understand? And
Yep.
sometimes I also judge dog shows, and I'm always so happy when I have a beautiful dog to end up with, because sometimes you end up with dogs which is just ugly, and then you must make it best in show.
Yeah.
But the other dogs was had too many faults.
Yeah. The idea of a dog winning because it doesn't have faults is
Yeah, but
that's
that's
not
dog
even
show.
in the thought process. Like that's not even things that are added value where there will be pluses. That's just no minus. So you really you could be at
Sure.
zero.
Yeah, but we must not forget confirmation is confirmation. Eh?
Yeah. Yes.
I have that
Yes.
discussion a lot of time with judges, and they say it's a matter of it's a matter of opinion. No, I don't agree with that. I mean, confirmation is confirmation. If you have a bulldog, a Rottweiler, a dog de Bordeaux, or any dog, I mean, confirmation is confirmation.
Yeah.
And as a judge, you need to know also what faults is more important than other faults. I mean, yeah, if a dog have no pigmentation in the nose, that's a cosmetic failure. Yeah, that has nothing to do with no angulation in the rear, for example. A dog without pigment in the nose, he will not have physical problems from this. Maybe sunburn, but yeah, that will not be a huge mistake, I think.
That's what the Rottweiler judge lady said. She said it's cosmetic, but it's in the standards, so we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, a Rottweiler is of course also it's complete different judge than, for example, the Bulldog. I mean, that dog is had a big evolution, and they look all similar.
Right.
Hmm.
And you have working lines and you have show lines. That's the big difference in this moment. I mean, yeah. But with the Bulldogs, yeah. I also think with the Bulldogs, the problem is with the Bulldogs that if you only keep the English type dogs, what is very nice, and that's what the fault what you see a lot. I mean, you have a very good selling point. Yeah, but sometimes you need to put a little bit athletic dogs through it to keep the lines healthy. If you don't do it, then the health goes very much backwards. You
Right.
understand?
Yeah.
So yeah, I also don't think there is a perfect bulldog. There's always a middle line, and there's always a little bit matter of taste. Some people like this style, but the conformation is the same. You always can judge on the conformation, but how they look, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
good. Everybody can have his own, um, yeah,
Yeah. There's
path.
there's there's plenty of train stops for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. So who's this?
Ooh.
Um,
And how old is this picture? It's hard for me to see how old they are, but
no, I mean that's what I mean with very good angulation. You understand what I mean?
yeah.
Oh, it's stupid. I know the name of the dog. I saw the dog. Um, I forgot the name. Oh, how stupid is this?
Is that Rolex maybe?
No, no.
It's a
Beautiful
really nice
dog,
dog.
whatever his name. Yeah, whatever his name is. Nice
It's
dog.
a blue tribe, but that's what I mean. That's what I like in the angulation. The
Yeah.
good top line. and nice, powerful rear. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go back to the picture, then I also can show you something
Okay.
for the
We got it.
people.
Looks
Yeah.
like we have a question in here too, from Gray Area Bulldogs.
Okay. Let's
Uh,
see. Let's put him up there.
since I've been seeing so much debate about it in our breed, what is your opinion, Michael, on Ryjaw?
A right jaw.
Hmm.
Um, a right jaw is a defect on the jaw. It means that the most of the time the underjaw is like this.
Hmm. I think what he's
And
asking you, is that something that is a deal breaker for you that you wouldn't breed to that dog, or is that something that you think you can breed out and correct?
to be honest with you, I bred with a dog with a right jaw, and
Hmm.
I had pups out of it. That no puppy had right jaw. I think in all the bulldogs there is right jaw, but I mean nowadays there is so many dogs who have no right jaw. So if you can avoid it, then avoid it.
Pretty
You
much.
you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
I
not
mean,
it's not necessary because there's so many other dogs that have a clean bite.
yeah, and there is also a lot of good dogs, but
Not sure.
I mean sometimes what I think is I always see it like when I'm breeding dogs, I feel a little bit like I always say to them, imagine that you want to restore an old car. Yeah, you know what I mean. You have a very old car.
Hmm.
If you have a very old car, you have always missing parts. And so then you need to know all the places around you where you can take a part for the car. You understand?
Yep.
And that's what we call the tools. So if you want you are building on the dog, sometimes you are missing something inside the dogs. Some breeders they need bone, another breeder needs angulation, another one needs bigger head, another one, for example, at some point he losing a lot of teeth inside the dog. I mean that's also what I see a lot of time in the dog show, that the dog is missing more than 6 or 7 teeth. So that's then a tool where you are breeding for. And for example, if you have dogs, all your dogs is very small, you have not bone, you have no angulation, and suddenly there is that big dog with a lot of bone, with a very big head, extreme muscle, and he has a right jaw. Yeah, who am I then to say not to use that dog?
Right.
But if that dog is similar to towards all your other dogs,
Right.
then I would not use that dog.
So okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is if the dog brings more value to the situation, um, you can overlook and correct the ride jaw, but there's no sense in using if it's a special dog that brings other attributes to the table. But if I have a dog that's run of the mill, that's the same as some of the other dogs in my program, but he's rye, why would I bring that problem in when I don't have to?
Yeah, then I would cull it out. Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you do
So
you have something? My bad, bro. Or go ahead, man. I don't want to talk over
no,
you.
run it. Go.
Do you have a deal breaker? Sounds like angulation is really important to you. Is there a trait or a fault in a dog that you would see that you say, okay, I'm not dealing with that. That's a pet home. Be it angulation, be it recurrent
Yes. When a dog is not stable character.
temperament.
I mean, I always say the people who buy a dog from you most of the time is families.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they trust you. So if you, for example, breed with a very unstable dog, yeah, remember that that dog is maybe a part of the family.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this happen with American Bulldogs with certain bloodlines. I would not call names. But for example, a stable dog can have dog aggression. It's no problem. Yeah, my dog can be aggressive towards another dog.
Especially
And
same-sex aggression.
yeah, but that's something. Yeah, what can happen? But for example, when this dog is fighting, for example, my other dog, and I correct it, and then this aggression runs over and it goes towards me, then it's a direct danger for the family.
Yeah.
And I saw this happen with American Bulldogs. I was judging in a certain time with American Bulldogs, and then people was with 30 dogs in the ring, and we had the males who get aggression towards each other, and then the owners start correcting their dogs, and then the aggression starts running over to the owner, and I saw handlers getting bitten by their own dogs. So then I disqualified these dogs. And I say to these people, better you put those dogs down.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
people
because if
get
he's gonna
aggressive
bite
to
you,
me.
he don't care about nobody
Yeah, I
else.
said, but
Liability,
what
man.
if your child is walking on the street and he meets another dog, and your child is going to correct your dog and he's going to attack your own child? I will never forgive myself when one of my own dogs is betting one of my children, or when I breed or I bred a dog who is going to bite a child because it's bred and it comes out of an unstable dog. And that's, for me, it's
Yeah.
extreme important. Extreme important. You need to have
Hmm.
stable dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, you can test your dogs also a little bit. I mean, if you put a little bit pressure on your dogs and the dogs comes out of it, then you have stable dogs. But if they don't come out and they stay and they hang in it, yeah, that's really a no-go for me. And I know a lot of breeders who breed with unstable dogs, and I never understand that. I mean, because a bulldog is also a family dog, and I love dogs, but I love also children, and I also love your children. I mean, I think sometimes I can think you, oh Tony, you are a fucking asshole, and I can really think
Well,
you are a
damn.
fucking. No, but for example, but
I
if your
know,
kid
I
is,
know.
but if your kid, you have a kid with you, then my aggression should never, as an adult, go over that. I also
Right.
think your child is an
Yeah,
asshole. You
yeah,
understand?
yeah. I got you.
That's
I
all.
got you.
That's also some things what I saw in dog shows. That people they hated me, what I can understand, but don't hate my children. I mean, you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
and that's very important for the community. But that's a no go for me. And
Okay, so
and I can breed with a dog with no angulation, but then the dog, in my opinion, then the dog must have so much tools what I can use. Then
Something
I
else.
they can yeah. Then I can.
okay,
I
let's
mean,
let's play a little game. Let's play a little game. I got a pin. This is my magic wand, right? This right here. And when I strike this magic wand against the disc, every dog that has right jaw is going to be out of the breeding population. How many
Okay.
dogs are we left with?
you
I'm gonna
think that
I'm
there
gonna
is?
I'm gonna hit. I'm
What
gonna do it.
what he's saying is how big of an issue do you think Rydjaw is in our community? If we had 100 dogs, you think 70% of them had the ride? Do you think 40%? Is that kind of what you're?
Right. Like if today they were out of the breeding population, what are we left with?
I don't know, but in my lines, maybe 2%, 1%.
Now you're saying two
If
percent
I bred 100 dogs, I mean, look, if, for example, if you breed a breeding dog from me, and you say you will use it for breeding and it has a rye, I will replace it for you.
So it's
If you
not that
buy
prevalent
it
in
as a
your line.
pet, then I will not replace it. But I mean, me as a judge, I mean, every dog show I see one or two, but it's not that I see a very big effect on it.
Right. Right. I got you.
Okay.
Where you
That's
booing at, Chris?
No angulation, uh, 80%.
I don't
So
know.
20% have good angulation.
And I
And
don't know
that's
if it's
why I
Chris or
say
Gina, so that makes me
that's
tricky.
why I say to you, better give 500 or 1,000 more
Yeah.
and buy the best puppy. But that's for the breeders.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost can approach it that way. Look, I don't want to buy what you have for sale. Show me the dogs that aren't for sale. I want to buy one of
With
those
me,
dogs.
I sell everything.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
prostitute.
Yeah. You say everything got a price, huh? I hear you,
Yeah.
man.
How bad
No,
do
Let's
you
you
get
know,
want
it.
it?
this is something. what I also can say you, it sounds ridiculous, but I always say also to the newbies, to the people who start breeding, I say if you want to be a good dog breeder, you need to be a little bit like a prostitute, and they always look at me. What the fuck are you mean? I say the minute you are successful, the minute you are successful, the minute you are coming home with the trophies, yeah.
That's your chance to cash in right there.
And now, but that's
Unfortunately.
not what I want to say. You think the people will love you?
Oh
Nope.
The
You
hate
think
started. They
there it
will
goes.
try to find any shit on your dog.
Yep.
You
Yep.
understand? And then they start talking shit about you. Yeah?
Yep.
Eh, They will try to talk shit. You know how many people talk shit about me and they still buy my dogs? You know, in the beginning when I was younger, I had a very big ego. I say, I'm not going to sell dogs to you. Why not? Yeah, you talk shit to him about my dog. I'm not going to sell you a dog. I left over with nobody. I had nobody to sell a dog anymore in the end. So then I talked with an old guy and he said to me, Michael, you need to do it completely different. I said, why? Put away your ego. If they talk shit about your dog, they probably, because if they don't talk shit about you when you don't have nice dog, when
yeah.
you have shit dogs.
Yep.
Somebody who have shit dogs and only have shit dogs, nobody talks about. Because why you should talk about that guy who only has shit dogs? I mean,
Yeah.
Why waste your breath?
he
Exactly.
had, yeah, you have no competition. He's not, so they only talk about you when you have something what they like.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to the newbies. Don't think about that. With me, it was
A
so
little more
worse that
transactional, you're saying.
every time when I win a dog show, 1 week later, I had always had animal inspection at my house, always.
Man.
Because people calling me that I abuse the animals, I do this, I do that, just to fuck me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which on a random walkthrough on a Tuesday of your yard, no one looks unhappy. So I was impressed. It
Oh,
took me
so
when you
yeah.
just the scale of it for one, all the landscaping, the plants, like every kennel looked like a zoo enclosure almost. Like there was trees and bushes and birds, and it was just like it was impressive. It
Living good.
didn't, yeah, because in my mind, and I don't know if I speak for everybody, but I definitely speak for me. When I hear the number that you're talking about, how many dogs you have, I picture something very institutional looking, just concrete and straight lines of pins and a shade house and a little house, a shade and a little house and fences and dogs barking and all that, and it was nothing like that.
No. What I see a lot of times in the United States, I don't know if it's the laws, but I see a lot of setups from people where they have fences to each other, and I think that's a very bad system.
They have fences.
Fences. If you put
Yeah,
two
yeah.
fences next to each other, because the dogs, when dogs fight through a fence, it's better to put two dogs together with a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You have less damage than you have two dogs fighting through the fence. You understand? Understand
Gotcha.
what I mean?
Yeah,
If you have a fence and they can, I mean, if they take, for example, they do like this, yeah, and the other dog can do nothing back, so the whole face will be ripped off if you have fence. So, or they take a leg and they pull the leg through the fence.
yeah.
So I'm very against. In
I've
in
seen
in, in in Germany, there is a new law, and they only can have fences. They must have fences. They say the dogs must see each other. It's again it's fought by somebody who have no dog knowledge. You
yeah,
understand?
yeah. I've
Hmm.
seen them too get their teeth caught in the fence,
A lot of
stuck,
times, a lot
stuck.
of times this happen.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
my biggest fear is being at work and somebody get caught in the fence, and at 10 in the morning I'm not coming home till 4 in the afternoon. Like just
I
and
mean,
Ooh.
dogs also get bored sometimes, and dogs can get a little bit adrenaline sometimes. For example, For example, a cat is walking all the time in front of the cages, and they cannot get the cat or something.
Yeah.
The cat is teasing them, and then they start on each other.
Yeah.
That's 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 when sometimes fights happen. When the mailman is coming, and he have very strange behavior, the dogs is so full of adrenaline, they need to release the adrenaline, and they cannot release. Normally, when a dog is full of adrenaline, he starts chewing on something, for example. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's, for example, when people they throw balls. Actually, this is very wrong. First of all, if you throw a ball, the dog has very sudden movements. Second of all, you make the dog full of adrenaline, and the adrenaline needs to leave the system. And a lot of people forget, when the dog has the ball on the end of the game, the dog
It
always
releases
wants
that.
to
It
chew.
releases. Yeah.
Yeah, and by chewing, the dog releases the adrenaline. Adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
So, but they take off the ball. So you keep up the dog who is full of adrenaline, and then you put it back in the cage, and the adrenaline is not gone. And then the dog, you understand? That's how the
Hmm.
adrenaline starts. Yeah.
So, what is this again?
Wow.
Oh, that's Juan. Yeah, I don't know if I say the correct name, but that's a Juan. I also had that bird. Yeah.
See, and the
Oh,
reason I bring
oh,
it
oh,
up,
it's from my
Tony,
own. It's from
is
my own. Yeah.
he showed me all the birds and the different bird aviaries and all that, and it was not far from the dog pens. The dogs can probably like see the birds, hear the
I
birds. You know what I
you
mean?
I think where you are adding, I think you want the thing is, I cannot turn the camera around. That's a little bit. This is my painting. Can you see it?
Let me put you on prime time.
I can see it.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I can see what I can do. Normally, I say to myself, better is I don't. I can show you a little bit from the setup,
Okay.
Yeah.
but
Let's go.
It's
but
cool.
you
It's
know,
cool.
after 2 hours cleaning, but yeah, after 2 hours of cleaning,
Yeah.
of talking, I did not had time for. But
It's
okay,
okay. How you doing, Martine?
um, this my pond.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, um, yeah. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? My guy's got like plants
Wow.
everywhere. Like it's not
Little
what you think when you
paradise.
hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I cannot see what I show you, but
You've seen it all before. We're looking at it for the first time.
but but for example,
There's a gate right there.
this is this is
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
some of the
See what I'm saying?
dogs.
It's more like a zoo than a dog kennel.
Yeah, I have big pens. I think it's about 7 meters. I always use sand because concrete is very bad for dogs. If you don't
Mhm.
believe what concrete does, I did a test myself. Go lay on concrete for 20 minutes and then go lay on sand for 20 minutes. You know, the sand will adapt you warm, the concrete not.
Yeah.
Yeah, another pen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's not what we think when we hear how many dogs that there is. It's not what we think at all.
Yeah, some of the birds. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, we see everything pretty good.
Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
This one's crazy. Look at that.
Is that like a peacock or something? What?
It's Pauxie Pauxie. This is an empty pen, but
Wow.
like I said,
Yeah, see, it's like a zoo. The dogs live among
you
the
see,
birds and everything else, and
this is a pen. You know, it's big pens.
uh-huh.
Um, yeah, can see if you can see if you can see some ostriches.
Oh, the South American ostriches.
Yeah,
Crazy. I didn't even know these things existed.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny.
I know they had, big jungle birds and stuff. I didn't know they had ostriches down there.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Come on, girls.
It's, look at that.
Wow.
That's a flex right there.
I'd say.
Yeah.
You see them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah.
See if we can go to some other dogs, but yeah, I like to have that the dogs have space, and also for the pups, especially the bulldogs. Sometimes, especially when you breed the big dogs, a lot of times it goes wrong with the people because people feed the dogs too much protein in the puppy food. I always say 2 months puppy food. After that, best just give them adult food with raw meat. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I also think don't forget that dog food is just powder, yeah,
Right.
with no extras inside, and the dogs is always missing things.
Yeah.
So I always give my dogs also a lot of raw meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You hear the jungle over there.
you can hear 'em.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What kind of bird is that?
yeah, Karulak, Karulak. Yeah,
That's so cool, man. And I like the way the dogs are
some
intermingled in with all that.
peacocks. You see them? The peacocks?
Yeah, they're
Oh
sitting
yeah.
down. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh wait,
Damn.
that's a big one.
Yeah. So I don't know, but here you can see the setup of the bird cages.
Mm-hmm. They're
This is
big
me.
too.
So this is me, and you can see how big the bird cages is,
Yeah.
and this is how long. Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit of disease. I mean, I always need.
Oh man,
Yep, there he is.
yeah. His signal might be getting bad.
You don't have it?
I got you
Yeah,
now.
he just
I
came
got
back.
you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, two dogs. See, another pen.
Yeah. A good sized pin too.
Yeah.
Another pen.
And I like the wall in the middle, like you were talking about. I like that.
Yeah, another pen. Oh,
It looks like a very, very like low stress environment for the dogs. There's plenty of shade around there. Birds chirping. They got their
oh,
buddy with
this
them.
is some very nice birds. You see them?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Is that a toucan or
Yeah, they're
something? I see
pretty
a
rare.
hornbill on it.
Yeah, it's a hornbill.
Hornbill. Okay.
Hey, Medea!
Yeah.
It's a child. Okay.
Yeah. That's a full time job right there. A couple full time jobs.
I'd
Oh,
say.
here I have some nice quality puppies. See, they are all friendly.
Oh yeah. Now is tail docking illegal where you're
All
at?
tails. No, it's illegal.
It's illegal?
Yeah. You see
Wow.
big pants again.
Yeah. Oh, that one's a nice one. Both nice.
Big pen.
Big pen, yeah.
some other nice puppies.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So what does feeding time look like? Do you got to like wheel a big cart around, or how does you know? Parrots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the pants on
Yeah.
other side parrots.
Yeah.
Kookaburra. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. You're gonna have to do
There's another
some
one.
videos where you kind of walk around and show your animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
There's always people who find something what is not
Mm-hmm.
good. You know, that's why I don't like it so much.
I don't know, man. That's pretty impressive, man.
It really is.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Anybody that
Yeah.
don't like that probably don't like ice cream either. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
Some young females, I like them.
Oh yeah.
Another pen. Some young females. Another bird cage. Another female. A female. Birds again.
So somebody pulls up to your house that's never been there. Are they gonna hear more dogs barking or birds chirping?
What,
Or is it?
sorry?
I said, if somebody pulls up and never been there, are they gonna be hear more birds or more dogs?
I don't sell my birds. It's all my own hobby.
No, I'm saying, but I bet from the street it sounds like a jungle back there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can believe it or not, but you don't listen to my dogs. I mean, you listen to barking now?
I was
No, that's
gonna
what I'm
say
saying.
that too, man.
Nah, my dogs don't bark. I like stable characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, big fields where they can run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How many acres do you live on?
Um, it's about 6,000 square meters, but I build it, I think I build it very functional, you know. But
Mm,
yeah, here you can see the setup. It's all kennels.
yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I put the dogs between plants and everything. And since I did that, I think I always try to put young puppies with stable dogs so that they take over the behavior from stable dogs and not from yeah. This is another part. I can make a round like this. I can I can also go in with all the animals.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a big old peacock.
Man.
Medea! Yeah. So yeah, that's
Impressive,
now you
brother.
have a little bit an idea.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So then you can also imagine when I bring a puppy, also for you, Tony, uh, that, that, that when I'm away 6 hours from the house, it costs a lot of time to yeah to do everything. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
of course I have more hobbies. I mean
No stone unturned, huh?
Man.
aquariums. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I also like to collect crazy shit. I can
Uh-oh, what you
show
got?
you also. Um, for example, I have a dinosaur inside my living here. Again, I have aquariums inside the living room.
Okay.
Wow.
Got taxidermies up there.
Yeah, yeah. I have a real dinosaur.
Oh, you weren't playing.
Hell no. I thought you were talking about a painting.
You win. You win. I quit.
Right.
I mean,
Mic drop.
look how big it is.
And it's real. It's not a cast.
You
or
know,
nothing?
it's real Montosaurus. It's yeah, it's the size of a big bear.
Dang.
Yeah.
This dude's
Yeah.
got a dinosaur in his living room. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, I like everything, but has to do with animals and
Yeah.
with nature, and
That's
maybe I
awesome.
can show you one thing. I can show maybe, and then I stop with it. I go on with the life.
Oh no, I'm sure people want to see this, man.
Yeah. No one's jumped off yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You turn around, turn the corner as a dinosaur. Now you got everybody. What do you do after the dinosaur?
Right. How do you follow up with that? That's
Some of the
definitely a tip,
trophies,
bro.
but I need to.
Ooh-wee. Just shelves and
Yeah.
racks of trophies.
I throw away more than 3,000 trophies because, yeah,
Got to
Damn.
make space, huh?
that's how I did it. Yeah, yeah. If I can say you something from puppies, look, my puppy pants, they are the first 60 centimeters is floor heating, and
Okay.
if I do it like that, if you have the first 60 centimeters floor heating and they never shit in the place where they sleep, and
Right.
yeah. But you know what we can do maybe if people have a lot of questions and they ask you, maybe we can do another one time, not for 2 hours, but for 30 minutes, and I can answer all the
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
when they have it. And like I said, I'm up for all ideas.
We had 3 hours
Absolutely.
now, fellas.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I want to close it now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to thank everybody. Thanks for the
No
interview.
problem, man.
I hope you enjoy it.
We absolutely, Michael. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
You have a
Yeah, we'll
great
do it
one,
again.
brother, man.
Okay. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
man. Have
All
a
right.
great one. All
All right.
right, bro.
All right. Well, take it easy.
All right, man. Man, that was impressive, bro.
That's something else, ain't it?
Yeah, that was impressive. Bro had a dinosaur. I thought he was talking about a painting, man. He turned the
He had a
corner into a real
dinosaur.
dinosaur there, man. So,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna get off here too, man. Go get my day started, man.
I gotta
I
go to
appreciate it.
mom's, turn the tractor
Yeah,
on.
my mom came. She came through. I don't even know if she's still in there, man. So I gotta go hunt her down myself, man. So you have a great weekend, man. I appreciate it, man, for sure.
All right, bro. Be easy.
All right, brother. Yeah.